start tonight off with prayer and pledge. Those who would like to participate, please do. I will lead the prayer. For those who don't know, I'm Brenda Moore. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you to strengthen us as we make conscious decision as it relates to how we move forward with the task that we've been put before us. We ask that you give us a clear mind, open mind, so that we understand what we need to do so that we can make our city a whole city. Father, look over our workers, our administration, the council, and the citizens of the city of Saginaw and the world. A special prayer goes out tonight to Gaylord for the tragedy that they had. We'll keep them lifted up in our prayers as well. These things we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Now we'll be there. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Again, good evening. This is a public meeting, and the audience will ask you to remain and be quiet and refrain from speaking, interrupting, otherwise booing, and anything that may disrupt this meeting. I need to do a friendly reminder for every council member that's up on this table. Please silence your phones. Audience, I need you to silence yours too. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Lamar Sylvia.
Present.
Councilmember Williams was pre-excused. Councilmember Bench.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Present.
Councilmember Scherzer.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Councilmember Flores.
Present.
Councilmember Copeland.
Present.
And Mayor Moore.
Present.
You have 8 members present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Do we have any announcements, Madam Clerk?
We have one tonight, and that is just that City Hall will be closed on Monday, May 30th for the Memorial Day holiday. We also have a couple proclamations on the agenda this evening. The first being a proclamation declaring May 2022 as Health Month.
And we will have Councilwoman Bench read the mental health one. So is there any representative here from Saginaw County Mental Health? Please come up front. If you've got a team, come on down.
Thank you. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall physical health and emotional well-being, and whereas mental health will strike 1 in 5 adults and children in a given year, regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or economic status, and whereas people who have mental illnesses can recover and lead full and productive lives, and whereas an estimated 2/3 of adults and young people who have mental health disorders are not receiving the help they need, and whereas the cost of the untreated and mistreated mental illnesses and addictive disorders to American business, government, and families has grown to $113 billion annually. And whereas community-based services that respond to individual and family needs are cost-effective and beneficial to consumers and their community. And whereas the National Mental Health Association and its national partners observe Mental Health Month every May to raise awareness and understanding of mental health and illness. Now, therefore, our Mayor, Brenda Moore, of the City of Saginaw, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Mental Health Month in the City of Saginaw. I also call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in the state of Michigan to recommit to our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and the need to appropriate accessible services, a need for appropriate accessible services for all who have mental illnesses. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Saginaw to be affixed this 23rd day of May in the year of our Lord 2022. Signed, Brenda F. Moore, our mayor. Councilpersons Michael D. Balls, Mayor Pro Tem, Annie Bench, George Copeland Jr., Michael Flores, Monique Lamar Sylvia, Bill Ostash, Autumn Scherzer, and Reggie Williams II, and our city manager, Tim Morales.
Please zip it back. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you for all your
So
work
much.
and your service. Yes. Thanks for all your work and service. Congratulations.
It's okay to say a few words.
Without a doubt, you get to say some words.
My name is Tim Neidmeyer, and I've worked for Saginaw County Community Mental Health Authority for 28 years. And I could go on and on about the services and our good relationship with the city of Saginaw, but I brought a couple people with me, so you don't have to listen to me, and he promised not to go longer than 20 minutes, so. And this is Joe and Jennifer Goddard.
Would you like to say something?
My daughter's been had therapy for 2.5 years now. She's 4 years old. She's been diagnosed as severely delayed. So when she first started therapy, she was not able to talk very much, and her walking was like pigeon-toed, and she was had a lot of bad issues. Now she's in school full-time. She's talking like crazy. You can't get her to stop. And she's trying to outrun her older brother and sister. So it's been a major help for us to have this involvement with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, would you like to say something?
No, thank you.
Okay. Just thought I didn't want to seem like I was not asking. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, our second proclamation is declaring May 25th, 2022 as Theodore Retke Day.
And that will be read by Councilman Ostash.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas Theodore Retke, a famous poet, was born May 25th, 1908, and died August 1st, 1960. And whereas Theodore's birthplace, 1805 Gratiot Avenue in the city of Saginaw, is maintained as a museum in his honor. And whereas Theodore attended the University of Michigan, earned an AB and MA degrees, and briefly attended law school before entering Harvard University. The Great Depression caused Theodore to leave school. Theodore then taught English at several universities, including Lafayette College, Pennsylvania State University, Bennington College, and the University of Washington. And whereas Theodore also taught at Michigan State University in East Lansing. During the period of time, he became a well-known poet and author. Whereas Theodore continued writing poetry and books, which resulted in receiving a Pulitzer Prize, 2 National Book Awards, and a Bullington Prize, almost many other honorable rewards. And whereas Theodore's legacy remains strong in the city of Saginaw, his final resting place, as his remains are interred at Saginaw's Oakwood Cemetery. And whereas in April 2012, the United States Postal Service dedicated a postal stamp in honor of Theodore Retke, the Retke Forever Stamp. And whereas Theodore once was quoted as saying, "A lively, understandable spirit once entertained you. It will come again. Be still, wait." As we proudly honor this magnificent individual, we know the wait is over, as he is before us and will continue to entertain us through his poetry and writings. So now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Brenda F. Moore, the mayor of the city of Saginaw, hereby proclaim May 25th, 2022 as Theodore Retke Day in the city of Saginaw, and call upon the citizens of this community to reflect on and honor the life of this brilliant individual. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city on Saginaw to be affixed this 23rd day of May in the year of the Lord 2022. Signed, Brenda F. Moore, Mayor of the City of Saginaw. Councilpersons, Michael D. Balls, Mayor Pro Tem, Annie Bench, George Copeland Jr., Michael Flores, Monique Lamar Sylvia, Bill Ostash, Autumn L. Scherzer, and Reggie Williams II, and Tim Morales, the city manager.
Do we have any representatives? Please come forward.
We'll do that too.
Thank you so much. How you doing?
Thank you for everything. Here's your proclamation.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Right there. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Joyce.
Hey there, Mercy. It's good to be.
Please let us have words.
Thank you so much. And I'm Annie Ransford, the president of Friends of Theodore Rutke, and Joyce Seals is the vice president of Friends of Theodore Rutke, and Sharon is our Cracker Jack technician and grant writer. She's professor at Saginaw Valley State University. So we're going places, and we're working on the second house, the Rutke house, of the Rutke's uncle next door. So we'll have a museum in his childhood home, and we'll have a community center next door where we can serve Saginaw even more, have programs all year, not just in the summer. This means so much to us. We need local support, but we are a national organization. We have a literary landmark that's national from the Librarians Association. We're National Register of Historic Sites. And with Sharon's help, recently having virtual programs, we have to put Eastern Standard Time after 7 p.m. because we have people from all over the nation, sometimes 90, and they've come from China and France as well. So he has a big pulling out there. We just thank you so much. So let me stand aside, and Joyce is here as well.
Thank you so much. They didn't realize I was sitting in the back there. But we really do thank you for this recognition tonight. You have to realize that Theodore Rutke said that one of the things he always wanted was to be recognized in his own town. For many years, that did not happen. But you have continued the legacy of raising up his name in this community. He's a great man all over the world. He needs to be great here. He had many challenges, mental health challenges, other issues, but he overcame and became one of the greatest poets in the world. And therefore, we share this with children. We actually work with children. We teach them his poetry, tell them about his life, and say that he overcame, and because he overcame, guess what? So can you. And there's something great on the inside of you. So we use his life as an inspiration to young people, to encouragement that they have something that God has given to them that they can develop, and we try to help them do that in our programs. That's why I got involved back when I was the mayor. Got back long ago. That was how long ago it was. And I've been there ever since because I think it does make a difference in the lives of children. So thank you again, and just keep lifting us up, and we'll hope we'll see some of you over at the house sometime. We even have some young people that actually do tours for us. And so we have to, some of our high school students, and they do a good job too, by the way. And they're kind of excitable when you see them. They're pretty good. So we hope we'll see some of you this summer at some of our events. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Clerk.
Mayor, we are now to the public hearings portion.
The purpose of the public hearing is for the public to address council as a whole and for council to hear the information provided by the speaker for considerations regarding specific actions being requested. Speakers must limit their remarks to the subject of the public hearing. Please begin by stating your name, your position, such if you oppose or if you support it. The first speaker has 10 minutes. Anyone after that has 3 minutes to speak. Madam Clerk.
Our first public hearing is for the fiscal year 2022 to the 2023 proposed budget and property tax millage.
Do we have anybody here to speak on this matter? Do we have anybody here to speak on this matter? Third and final time, do we have anybody here to speak on this matter? I need a motion to close the hearing, the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our next is regarding the Special Assessment District for a police and fire millage for fiscal year 2022 to 2023.
Do we have anyone here to speak on this matter? Do we have anyone here to speak on this matter? Third and final time. Do we have anyone here to speak on this matter? Hearing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved in support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Madam Clerk.
Our final public hearing is regarding the Downtown Development Authority District millage to be levied on properties within the district.
Is there anyone here to speak on this matter? Is there anyone to speak on this matter? Third and final time. Is there anyone here to speak on this matter? I need a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, signify by saying nay. Madam Clerk.
Our next item is public input.
I'd like to welcome everyone who came to speak in public input tonight. You are to address the council tonight. Speak clearly and slowly so that we don't miss what you are trying to tell us. You have 3 minutes, which will be timed by the clerk. Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker this evening is Felicia Hogan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Giving honor to our mayor, Madam Moore, Michael Balls, our pro tem mayor, Tim Morales, city manager, and the council body. I'm here to discuss the assessment on a property that we own, 3419 Robert Street, Saginaw. I'd just like to add that we have taxes current on this property since 2011, and we have never been delinquent in our taxes, and taxes are due again in July, and they also went up. Having difficulties understanding what the point of paying your taxes are, and you come and cut down a tree on private property that was not ailing or a problem, and the tree that's causing damage to the sidewalk, 55 feet wide, you left that one standing. So I just feel like this is something that can easily be settled here at the city level instead of passing it on to the Michigan Tax Tribunal, of which has rescinded the practice of receiving emails, but they will accept an e-filing. So at this time, we are petitioning the city to replace the tree they cut down and to be responsible for half of the 2022 single lot special assessment at 3419 Robert Street in the amount of $1,032. You know, we come down here, it takes something for some people to get here and to address the body and the head of the body. And when you walk away with no answer or be rejected or denied something that is reasonable and so obvious, I'm really having taken issues with that. And I just think that this is something that the city can do easily if they would. And so I'd like for you all to reconsider for the third time to replace the tree at that dwelling, 3419 Roberts.
Motion to
and to take.
Motion to extend Mrs. Hogan's time by 1 minute.
Thank you.
We need a second.
Second. It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor, excuse me, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Just 1 minute. You
You can
ready?
continue.
Okay. And we're asking that the city accept responsibility because it was the tree that was causing the sidewalks to be all broken up. You know, now that's a great area, 55 feet wide, and all of the sidewalks are broken, and this was old cement, which was really strong, so tree roots are strong. So I'm just asking once again that you would take this into consideration and to forego sending us through the Michigan Tax Tribunal and to work this out, you know, so all can be satisfied. So thank you for your time today. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker is Brittany Dickin.
Good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for having me. My name is Brittany Dickin. I'm honored to be here to announce to you my candidacy for 10th Circuit Court Judge. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and my qualifications. I do have a website if you want to read all of the things about me and my background, but I won't bore you with that today. I have been a proud resident of Saginaw for 13 years. I joined my husband here, who is a Saginaw native. I've dedicated most of my legal work to public service. I served 8 years for the County of Saginaw as a law clerk for Judge Fred Borchard, and then the remainder of that time at the front of the court. I was a staff attorney there, a circuit court referee, where I heard family law cases in a quasi-judicial capacity. And then my last 3 years at the county, I was the director of the front of the court, formerly Brittany Doherty. While I was the director there, I oversaw 26,000 active family law cases for Saginaw County and managed an office of 40 public servants. Thank you to Mayor Moore for dedicating public service, our servant week, just a couple weeks ago, I think, something that we need more of. And I'm super passionate about pursuing this. I believe that I can serve the community in my best capacity through this judicial seat. I tell you all of my family law background because this position is Judge Jim Borchard's position. If you're familiar with Judge Borchard, he hears our entire family court docket. So that is how the position will remain. We'll hear all of the family law cases, which consist of custody, parenting time, and child support, divorce, property as well, alimony. I would appreciate your support in this, but what I'm asking is just that you review the other candidates that are running. There are 5 of us running for this seat. It's a non-incumbent, nonpartisan seat, and just make a decision based on our qualifications. I think you'll find that I'm qualified for the position, and I would love to continue my service to the community through this seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
do have cards. I'll leave them with the clerk if you want.
You can add them to the clerk. Thank you.
Okay, George Burton canceled prior to the meeting, so we'll move on to Cecilia Olvera.
Hello everyone, my name is Cecilia Olvera and I'm here to introduce Reese Saginaw, especially the residential side of the organization. So we recently held a pretty successful event on May 21st where we discussed our goals. We recently filed articles of incorporation. We'll continue down the path of stabilizing and establishing our organization. We're actively seeking partnerships with the city, county, land bank, banks, and other community partners to provide the following services: canvassing at-risk, delinquent, and foreclosed properties, advocating for the strategic use of the city's right of first refusal to avoid displacement and preserve the dwindling housing stock here in the community. Stabilize homes and remove the profit motive to sell at a cost to low and moderate income City of Saginaw residents. Provide voucher-friendly housing and housing to residents who are unable to obtain housing through the normal channels due to various personal reasons. Provide to all clients resource navigation and success coaching, in addition to workshops, including topics such as financial ed, property stewardship. We can do various things. I know Ms. Hogan was here about her tax assessment. Many folks don't know about that process or that various exemptions are available, so doing workshops around those topics as well. And you know, the possibilities there are endless, especially with some of the community partnerships that we could create here. All of this we wish to provide through a revolving fund to create a self-sustaining program that will leave a long-lasting impact. We currently have an ARPA proposal in, as well as another grant application that we are waiting on. I embark on this journey very proudly, and I thank Mr. Mixter, who I believe is a person, Owain will speak soon. He's graciously allowed me to join him on this journey, and he will speak more to the commercial side. Together we have a combined 10 years of experience doing this kind of work. You can follow Reese Saginaw on Facebook and Instagram, as well as if anyone has any questions for me, because depending on how long this will go, don't know if I'll stay for the whole meeting, 989-272-8003. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker is Hurley Coleman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To our mayor, city manager, city council members, and all those who are in attendance tonight, and those listening online, we bring you greetings from Saginaw County Community Action, where I serve as the executive director for the agency. Our agency has been changing lives since 1965 and helping to create self-sufficient citizens in Saginaw County. Our agency is one of 29 in the state of Michigan and one of 1,000 in America. I felt the need to address City Council tonight because our emergency services department has been experiencing high numbers as of late. From January 2022 through today, we've serviced over 254 clients with water, energy, gas, rent, mortgage assistance, property taxes, and car repairs, totaling approximately $152,684 in specific services. We work with partnering agencies such as our local MDHHS, United Way of Saginaw County, Saginaw Salvation Army, Partnership, and Partnershift, and True North to find ways to assist as many clients as possible. With the upcoming water moratorium coming to an end in July, it is imperative that we prepare the citizens so that they know what to expect on our end as service providers. Our team is working in capacity and have begun scheduling appointments into August as of right now. And we fear that as we draw closer to the city water shutoff, that other providers possibly may not be able to assist, leaving a majority of some of that weight on other agencies such as mine. I want City Council to know that we are here to help, and we've adjusted our workflow to accommodate the incoming demand that this water shutoff could create. We've also noticed that city residents are not getting back to work as quickly as we'd like them to, which is something that our case managers have discovered during their intake sessions with our clients. This could be a cause of the influx of emergency services we've received since January. The Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program has been assisting residents in the city of Saginaw and through Saginaw County since February of 22. The Low-Income Water Assistance Program, also known as LEWAP, will also further assist people who are behind on their bills. The Water Assistance Program was introduced by the Department of Health and Human Services and administered by community action agencies across Michigan. The program helps qualifying residents with up to $650 in water bill arrearages within a 12-month billing cycle. And as of April 30th, LEWAP has paid out about $31,755 in direct services on water arrearages alone. As we move forward, we want to encourage our city residents to seek assistance from DHS call 211 and find a way to set up payment arrangements right now with the city water department to get those accounts totals down before July 18th. We are seeing a higher than normal water bill. Some are $1,000 or more.
Motion to extend his time for a minute.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Thank you. We are seeing a higher than number water bills at this moment. Some are $1,000 for one single unit household, and some are above $1,000. In closing, I just wanted our agencies to know and our council to know that we're here to help, but we're also looking for our residents to step up to the plate as well. This is the only way we can bring this down. And just on behalf of the agencies, we do appreciate being a service to the community, but this is important to us as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Alex Mixter.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm Alex Mixter. I'm also here on behalf of Saginaw. We just launched over the weekend, as was mentioned by my colleague, and one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was the origins of this project was actually through a documentary where we were really asking the question of what are the good things that are happening here in the city of Saginaw. One of the observations that we made was that we have a lot of young people who are opening small businesses and they're in old buildings, and that's happening a lot. Mainly on the west side in the Old Town area, but what we noticed when we looked into the downtown area was that there was a pretty continuous loss of structures. The infrastructure that we have is rapidly vanishing. In fact, just last week we had a major fire on East Genesee, and I wanted to take a moment to actually commend our fire department. It was humbling to watch them work, and I actually told Chief Raines that I know what these dangerous buildings are like on the inside, but they're not on fire when I'm in them. So it's incredible to see what they did, and also our inspections department. It's always a tragic loss to see an old building like that go away, but that was the correct decision, which we saw when we saw the strike on the building and 3 stories of brick wall wobbling. Very unsafe situations, but where we're at right now with that is that if we don't do something right now about what we have left, we will not have much left. This one building, if you go online and you look up the East Genesee Historic Business District, that actually came up in 1982, that it was listed on the National Register. The building we lost just a couple days ago is actually the main photo when you open up that Wikipedia page. And there were 23 buildings there, and now we have less than 7, I believe. So they're constantly going away. And what we want to provide through Saginaw Community Development, there's a lot of things, but on the commercial end of it, we want to offer good stewardship for old buildings in distress. We're seeing a lot of people or organizations who have properties that they either can't maintain or they can't get rid of, so to speak. And there's a lot of hurdles in the way of these things, but there's a lot of things that cause massive issues that we could very easily solve now. In fact, one of the buildings that we acquired on East Genesee, which is actually about half a block away from the one that burned, the roof actually is slowly caving in because of a water bottle that plugged a roof drain. If that would have been pulled out of the drain years ago, we wouldn't have these issues. So what we want to do is offer good stewardship and really pay attention to these things. And it was a beautiful thing to be able to hold this event at the Lee Commons because that was the project that got me involved in all this to begin with. And on top of that, I was actually speaking to a member of the city staff who told me that if there's one thing that the Lee proved, it's that when we think about it, we can actually figure it out, and we want to put extra eyes on these problems. And I thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Philip Graves.
Mayor and members of City Council, I first want to say thank you for the gracious premium proposal that was passed at the last meeting. It is great to be recognized and to show support for your city employees in this difficult time. As you are all aware and all feel daily, inflation and the cost of living is out of control and getting worse by the day. The recognition by the council for the premium pay and also the recognition for the police officers and every other city employee who are out here doing a great job is very much appreciated. With that said, I did want to make a request for you all to consider. The language of this proposal unfortunately excludes a member of our police department. This member was not just sick with COVID, but spent 83 days in the hospital fighting for his life. This member is Officer Dominic Vasquez. Officer Vasquez is a 6-year veteran of the Saginaw Police Department. He contracted COVID on the job and then spent the entire time frame within the parameters of the current proposal in the hospital and in rehabilitation. I am certain you have all heard his story and the struggles he faced as he went through recovery. Officer Vasquez had to relearn how to breathe, how to eat, how to talk, how to walk, and how to perform almost every daily task we all take for granted. As already stated, the current language would exclude Officer Vasquez and any other employee, which I don't think there's many, from receiving this hazard pay in the full amount. I'm asking you all to please consider a possible amendment to this proposal that would allow those who are sick with COVID to receive this hazard pay in the full amount. A couple ideas for the amendment language would be to include members who are out with COVID to receive the hours as if they worked, or maybe even expanding the time frame. I think it's very important to include those like Officer Vasquez in receiving this pay, as the whole concept behind the hazard pay is due to the hazard of working under COVID conditions. What better testament to the hazard of those conditions than Officer Vasquez, who spent almost 3 months in the hospital fighting for his life. Officer Vasquez is humble and he is dedicated. He defied all odds by not just surviving, but coming back to work as quickly and as happy as he was when he left. There is no doubt Officer Vasquez would have been serving the citizens of Saginaw and continue doing so if he was not hospitalized. Officer Vasquez and every other city employee who is out with COVID also deserve this pay. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our final speaker is Kervin Merrill.
Kervin Merrill. Greetings, Mayor Brenda Moore, Mayor Pro Tem Michael Balls, Mr. Morales, and everyone might be listening at home. I had a concern. I came over here earlier and got it taken care of. And I wasn't going to show up this evening, but I was asked to bring someone down. And as I was sitting back there, I was asking myself, how could I use this moment to try to make an impact in my community? And what I came up with is that I just want to encourage you all who are making these decisions concerning our city. I want you to know that I honor you, I respect you, and I believe in you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at remarks of council.
Fellow council persons, you have 3 minutes as well. We will begin tonight with Councilwoman Sylvia, Lamar Sylvia.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so very much for coming to City Council meeting this evening, and for the persons that have addressed council. We definitely will be looking into different things that you brought to us this evening. But my first thing I really wanted to say was that I'd like to know if it would not be out of order, if we could take a couple of moments of silence to remember the persons that lost their life in Buffalo a few weeks ago. Actually, that hit here in Saginaw. Members of Saginaw lost loved one in Buffalo. If we could just have a moment of silence, can we do that, Mayor?
I've got to turn to Madam Clerk.
I think if she would like to use her time, that would be appropriate.
All right, just a moment of silence and remembrance. Thank you so very much. Definitely our prayers, and I believe I speak for our council, go out to those families that was affected by that tragedy. Also, I'd like to say thank you so much, Miss Yolanda, Miss Kana Franklin, and I know I'm missing someone, so please help me because it's Miss Yolanda. Okay, thank you so much. We now have a resource guide for different funding. They were so gracious to listen to me, and we came together. I always got a lot of stuff going around in my head, but they were able to depict that and give us something real good where we can know the different funding dollars that are available through the city, because sometimes we only think it's maybe one or maybe two, but it's several different areas. So all you have to do is ask, and we have those. They have those, not me. They have them. So I'd like to say thank you so much for putting all of that together. And I believe that's all I'd like to say. Oh, and happy birthday to our mayor. Doesn't she look so good? Thank you so much. That's all I have for today.
Next, we have Councilman Williams smiling and grinning.
Well, good evening, everyone. Happy birthday, Mayor.
It's tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Mayor. Happy birthday. I would like to take this time to say thank you to everyone that's come forward to speak this evening. I'll keep my comments very short. Detective Graves, I appreciate you coming forward and speaking on behalf of Mr. Vasquez. I am definitely in support of that because, I mean, he actually, he suffered. His hazard pay should be paid out because of the fact that he got COVID while working, we all believe. So I'm definitely in support of that. And I also like to take this time, I'm glad you brought up Buffalo, New York. There's been so many instances of tragedy in our country over the past couple of weeks, not just Buffalo, New York, but in California. And we have people that are out here stabbing people with needles and whatnot. And it's a lot of it is race-based. And we have to be better. And even though these things are not happening here in Saginaw, Michigan, we all have relatives throughout the nation. We just need to keep sending out a message of love. I mean, and it doesn't have to be where you just, you know, all just Google Gaga over someone. Just treat people right. Treat people right. Treat people how you want to be treated. That is the easiest, most fundamental thing we can do is treat people how you want to be treated. And we do that, we'll just be better. And I wish that could be understood by everyone that can hear my voice and beyond. But as we know, things will unfortunately continue to happen, but they don't have to if we make a choice to be different. And that's all that I have here.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Councilwoman Bench.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much to our public speakers for all being here tonight. I particularly want to thank Mr. Coleman and the CAC because your services are crucial and they're going to be even more important and crucial going forward with the moratorium ending. So I thank you for being here and calling attention to the services that you have, and also the call to the public that there is help available, and we have to step out of our comfort zone sometimes and ask for help, but it's out there. And worth seeking, and certainly giving yourself that relief, because it's stressful having to make ends meet with inflation and the things that we're seeing right now. So take advantage of the help that's out there, please. Mr. Mixter and Ms. Olvera, I was there this weekend. I'm very, very excited for everything that you guys are going to be doing here in the future, and very proud of the work that you guys have already done. So I'm there with you 100%. I think other than that, I want to announce, last year we did a gun and ammo amnesty day. And it was myself and the Saginaw Police Department, and we're going to do it again this year. It's going to be Saturday, June 11th, and we will be announcing the times and locations. But we will have the same 2 locations we had last year, and a 3rd location, thanks to my colleague Reggie Williams, who will be partnering with me as well in his capacity as a councilman and the police chief in BV. So we'll have a 3rd location in BV. But I just wanted to put that date on people's radars. If they want to volunteer and be at one of the locations, that would be great. And if not, just help spread the word and let people know that event will be happening. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Scherzer.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I too wish you a very happy birthday tomorrow. Just a reminder that the front porch roll call is tomorrow at Mackinac Place. And then also there are a lot of summer events coming out. We have Friday Night Live coming back, Light Up the City, the YMCA Concert Series, the African Cultural Festival, the Lawn Chair Film Festival. please, as you attend these events, think about your community, pick up after yourself, but also be a positive attendee and support what great events and great things that people are taking the time to do in the community. I serve on some of the boards of these events, so I truly look forward to seeing some of you out there, but let's just make sure we have a safe summer. I do also want to thank the public speakers for coming out, and especially to you, Alex. I read your Facebook post, and it can be very humbling, sad, and exciting at the same time, so I truly understand that. My schedule is a little crazy, so I would love to support you in any way that I possibly can, and I too want to see us put more effort into saving what we have instead of it's too late and we have no other choice but to let it fall to the ground, or it falls to the ground because we've waited too long. So I definitely want us to have a downtown in a city that has structures and doesn't always have to be new builds. Because when you visit other towns, I don't know about anybody else, but I just love to go to the downtown area to see what's there. I was in Pensacola Beach, and their downtown area is old, but it's beautiful, and it's still there. So whatever I can do, you have my support. Other than that, I just hope everyone keeps everyone in thoughts and prayers. COVID is on the rise again, so just be smart and make wise decisions. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ostash.
Thanks, Mayor, and thanks for everybody coming out again tonight to share your evening with us here in the chamber, and for those of you watching at home. Thank you to Mayor Moore, who threw a very successful team up to clean up event this year. Again, it was a lot of fun, but not only fun, we impacted 10 areas of the city, hauling out lots of trash, including people's old bathrooms and beds and couches, and you can only name it. So thank you, Mayor, for that successful event, and also to our city staff who put a lot of time in to help the mayor to do that. Alex and Cece, I'm so glad you're here tonight because I actually had this on my input to talk a little bit about, but you were here to actually kind of explain what you're doing, Alex, from your side, trying to fill those gaps. Cece, you're bringing in years of experience on the other side of these tax foreclosures and how you can marry these two things together and make an impact on our community. So thanks for the launch of your new company and your new LLC. I too enjoyed being there on Saturday with my colleague, Councilwoman Bench, and it was a great event, and you had a nice turnout and some good questions and dialogue. Another thing I'd like to bring up, I had the opportunity to attend an event this weekend from the Women's National Farm and Garden Association. My friend Cinda Shantz invited me. It was a great event. They're looking for more people to get involved. A lot of people were kind of wondering why there was a gentleman in the room, but they're actually opening up their membership to include more people in the area. And they did bring up, and I noticed one of the awards that they had presented there that they were showing was something that I actually approached Phil Carwatt about back in 2019. And Phil kind of teamed up with this group, and they started their Daffodils for Saginaw program in order to plant 10,000 bulbs in the city. They are now up to 6,000, but Phil was able to secure some area over by the Cushway House where they planted their first 2,000. And this project is actually award-winning now, and they had their awards there. So thank you, Phil, for listening to me, and for the city manager as well back in 2019 when they tried to get this program going. And I don't know if anybody's driven down by the county mental health building and noticed a 50-foot mural that is now standing there next to the, that was painted. And that mural represents addiction in the city and how we recognize it. And I want to thank my colleagues all at this table, because back in 2019 of July, when I brought the ordinance to the table for introduction and adoption, they were fully on board with that program. And a little bit about the program. Again, I just want to reiterate for the folks on how important this program is. The program itself, in harm reduction programs, you can reduce the infection of HIV by over 80%. And just one person who is infected with HIV, that can be a $400,000 cost in the mental health system over their lifetime. It's two-thirds less sticks from needles for our first responders who are responding to a lot of these calls. 66% of the needles are now disposed of properly, and folks that can get into the program have a 5 times more likely to recover and once they're in the program, because if they fall off, there's always a safety net for them to go back to. So I want to thank everybody at this table for that last year, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, Saginaw. It's good to be back here. I had COVID last time, so thank you to Dennis Jordan. He actually called me and talked me out of coming. I was going to come with COVID. And we had this long, kind of like 3-call conference about it wouldn't be a good idea if I showed up. So thank you so much to the council members that reached out to me and told me to rest. There are a couple of you. What really helped me along that process, along with a lot of water, was the COVID tests. COVID tests are incredibly accurate. If you don't have one, please call 1-888-720-7489, and you'll be able to get some from the federal government. They're still giving out free tests. I tested negative today, so that's a plus. So I did watch live on YouTube, and Detective Graves, I was thinking of Officer Vasquez when the motion was being made. You and I had worked together to make sure that the original motion that I put forth in February would include him, and then also exclude people that had discretionary actions. But, you know, I still commend the council members for giving our city staff a premium pay. It is truly deserved for what they've done throughout the COVID pandemic. Bobby DeLeon has had a birthday, same week as the mayor. He is asking that the MAC raise money. He has a GoFundMe page on his Facebook. I reposted it on mine. I contributed, but please, if you're willing to give to the MAC, reach out to him, myself, 989-992-3803, or visit our Facebook pages. Also, we had another homicide victim, Brandon Patterson, on the 20th. He also has a GoFundMe page for his funeral costs. I reposted that on my Facebook page, or you can contact me directly to see how you can contribute to that charity. On June 11th, Parents Against Murdered Children, the CAN Council, Mothers Demand Action, Underground Railroad are all going to be having an event at Orchard Park from 12 until 4. It's a Saginaw safety kickoff. We want to make sure that we're asking the community that we have a ceasefire immediately, that we do not kind of devolve back into the type of summer that we've had last summer and the summer before that. So again, it's from 12 until 4. There will be speakers from 12 until 2. There's going to be a free kite giveaway for children at Orchard Park. So please come if you're available. And I think that's all I have for this evening. So thank you so much. It's great to be back.
Thank you. Next we have Councilman Copeland.
Right, good evening, everyone. Thank you to our public speakers who joined us this evening. I want to say thank you to Mr. Coleman for sharing that information. I think that it's just a continuous partnership that we're seeing within our community that is amazing. So thank you for what you're doing over at Saginaw CAC. I do want to say thank you to our mayor for another successful cleanup. I got a chance to meet some of the guys. I think we were laughing as hard as we were cleaning up. It was great just to meet some of those gentlemen and to see the work that they're doing. And I believe it's just 3 of them, and they were sharing about the support that they need. So I do encourage you. We have some openings here at the city. There are some great people here working at the city. You'll have some great colleagues. If you're interested, please apply. There's some openings. I'm also glad that Councilmember Scherzer shared about the Lawn Chair Festival. I see the first movie is going to be The Wiz, so I do want to let you know, Alex, be ready because I'm coming with my singing voice, all right? That's my movie right there. So, again, just have a safe summer. It's getting started now, and I know the children will be getting out of school soon. I do know that Saginaw Valley will be having a STEM camp at Holton Jones. So if you all have young people who are looking for things to get involved in, there are some summer camps that your children can be involved in, and let's have a safe and prosperous summer. That's all I have.
Next we have Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens for coming out to the city council meeting this evening, and I just thank you all for the volunteer work that you do in the city of Saginaw to make this place a better place for all of us. You know, it go unsaid that what you guys do, it really turns around a lot of people. And on that same note, I'm going to ask you again to be a mentor in the city of Saginaw. You cannot invest too much in a child.
It's like doing a timeshare program. When you put that in, you're guaranteed to get something back out. And we wouldn't have all these killings today if we had people that was mentoring these kids and telling them to do things that's proper when they were younger. I guarantee you that every last one of these kids probably come from a single-parent home, and more than likely somebody else is not talking to them. You know, association brings about assimilation. If they're hanging around with kids that got guns or doing stupid stuff, they're going to do that. But if they're hanging around an adult that's telling them to do the right thing, more than likely they're going to do the right thing. After having 6 little brothers myself, you know, and only one of them got in some trouble, and like I said, the police gave him a wedgie, and we ain't had a problem with him since. You know, so I know that it works. You know, if you really care about the city of Saginaw, try investing some time in one of these kids. Mr. Mixter can take one of the kids around and show them how to work on a house or something like that. And I guarantee you that kid will be a productive member of society. All of my little brothers are doing good right now, and I'm real happy about that, because it's not that I took them a lot of places or anything like that. I just invested a little time with them, helping them fix their bike or getting a toolbox. Every last one of my little brothers I had, I always gave them a toolbox. And you should see some of these guys when they go home with that toolbox, you know, letting their mother know they're ready to fix anything in the house. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I, too, attended the citywide cleanup. It was a beautiful event that Saturday. I'd be looking for everybody to come here complaining all the time about something. I didn't see none of them people out cleaning up the city. I was really amazed when I came here that morning. I did not see those people. I knew they was going to be here. You know, I guess some people that want to do the talk and don't want to do the walk. But I'd like to thank all the city council people that was there to help for that cleanup that weekend. And another thing, we got plenty of jobs in the city of Saginaw. The city of Saginaw is looking for people for jobs. The laborers union is looking for people. The carpenters union, the pipe fitters, the fire department, the police is looking for more candidates. The electrical union is looking for people. So we need to tell our kids that they need to get off their donkeys and try to apply for some of these jobs out here, man. I mean, I was at the Spicer Corporation was giving a jobs fair the other day on a Friday. And they busting in people from Penn County to come down to Saginaw to try to get some of these jobs in the city of Saginaw. Now, y'all think about that. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out doing public speaking. I need to clear the air. The cleanup was not a mayor's thing. It was an effort by every individual up here.
Right.
If you came out to clean, whether you did or not, I'm sure you were in my prayers and thoughts, and you wanted to clean. When I do stuff in the city, it is not a Brenda Moore showcase. It is not a mayor showcase. It is the whole body. I work with all 8 of you. So I do want to thank everybody who came out to clean up. I was in one area and I had little babies. This was fabulous this year to me. We had little ones who wanted to get in the bushes. One that she seen a possum or whatever them things is called, and it wanted to play, and she wanted to play with it. And I'm looking at her, baby, don't do that. Baby, don't do that. I'm ready to jump on the car. So it's all about having fun. It really is. I have attended probably 5 events in the last 2 weeks, and every event has been phenomenal. The cutting of the ribbon downtown at Saginaw Valley State University. Saginaw is looking up. You may not, some people say they don't see it, but I see the change. There's a shift in the atmosphere. There is really a shift, and it's happening daily. The shift cannot happen if we don't work together. All of my public speakers, I always get excited because most of the time we can give you a resolution. I know that people are going to be upset July 18th, but I'm going to say it over and over again. There are agencies that can help. We have to move forward. We can no longer postpone, delay any water shutoffs. CAC has already did the cry. If you have to, they only have limited funds, set up arrangements. That's the good part about this. You can set up arrangements. You don't have to come in and drop a lump sum of money. Just make arrangements. It is so difficult when I go to sleep and I got people calling me saying, it's a right to have water. It is. It's also a right to pay it. If you pay your bill, do you want to pay everybody else's bill? I mean, that's just food for thought. I've got more people calling telling me, cut the water off now, this time, than I did, don't cut it off. Do I feel good? No, because I don't want to see anybody without anything. But however, we have to take responsibility for our actions. The city is going forward. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk.
We are now at reports from the manager.
Thank you.
Madam Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First item, the ARPA portal has been extended. I'm sure you've all been made aware of that, but I wanted to say the reminder today. It's now open until June 13th. The city and Guidehouse have attempted to follow up with groups that already submitted proposals, and we will continue with those efforts. We emailed everyone who had provided an email, and we're sending out paper letters as well to those organizations they know to follow up and submit something in the portal. And we encourage groups or individuals to enter ideas or projects, even if they have an idea that they don't think that they could implement. There may be, the city may be able to implement it, or there might be another organization that we can line up with them to implement some of those ideas that they have. I did receive this statement, so we'll also put this out. The ARPA committee is working as quickly as possible while ensuring consensus remains among the ARPA committee members at every step of the process. This will allow us to deliver a final report that we can all stand behind as we take great care with the ideas and proposals generated by the public. And with that, we're also planning to have a presentation at council from the committee on the June 20th agenda. And I think that was mentioned during some meetings that you had. That's ambitious to me since the portal closes on the 13th, but I know they're working on projects as they come in. So I'm hoping that they can keep that item. I'm sure we will have something on that meeting agenda. The City of Saginaw Police Memorial and Award Ceremony is tomorrow at the Saginaw Police Department at 11 a.m. And I think this is the first time in the last 2 years that we've had a ceremony that was open. And it's going to be held in the front lobby of 612 Federal Avenue at the police headquarters. A few people have mentioned hiring at the city. We do have one of our areas that is in dire need is maintenance and service division. And we had talked with the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem about some of that staff recently, and I believe that right now they're probably at about half staffing level from what they're authorized to have. And you see the importance of that group. I know the mayor had called in yesterday a water main break. We had a water main break in our neighborhood. Actually, it wasn't water mains. A semi-truck hit a fire hydrant and flooded the street out. So we get to see the cooperation of the fire department and the maintenance and service division. And when something like that happens, and I know that the mayor mentioned the same thing, the crew is out there all night. They got at the site, the fire department got the site first, where the fire hydrant was broken, and I think maintenance and service probably got there 45 minutes or so after that, and they were still there at 10 a.m. the next day. So it's a long job that they have, and it's they're doing that in ankle-deep water typically, but they do great work, and everyone who was there, I will commend the city staff, and I've told them that, but I want to say it in public too. From the fire crew that was there to maintenance and service, they were all open. People in the neighborhood would go up and talk to them, and they provided them information, so I commend all the staff that were involved with that, and that included fire crew, maintenance and service, and streets all had to work on that project. So good work by them, but we do need to get some more employees in here in that area to relieve some of those individuals. A lot of those things, it seems you don't have a water main break at 1 o'clock when people are at work. It's in the evening, and you can keep calling people in only so often before they are not available just because they're exhausted or they have families and they have other things that they need to do. So we are, and I will mention this as well, Councilwoman Lamar Sylvia mentioned the CDBG information that staff provided her. She also suggested a job fair, and we are planning to have that in the next couple weeks. Once we have a time for that, we'll get that information out to everybody, and we'll have staff here that can talk to people about water maintenance and service, or the fire department, or the police department. Any department that we have where we're looking for staffing, there will be someone here that can provide that information. Mayor Pro Tem can probably tell you that Maintenance and Service Division 2 is good to start to learn that trade. You're going to learn about pipe fitting, and you might not be a plumber and pipe fitter union like his, but it's a good start for you. And you can learn what else is in the city, and you can see that work and see if you do want to go on to something else, that's great too. But you can get that start here, and we are also providing assistance to get CDL licenses because we need those individuals too. So we can provide that training, and we have jobs available, like several council members have said. One other area where we need staffing is the splash pad, and we have, in 2020 we did not open the splash pad. Last year it was limited because we just didn't have staffing for it. So we do want to open it up, and we're going to open it Saturday, May 28th. It's going to be open 10 to 7 throughout the summer season. But currently, due to limited staffing, we won't be able to have the bathrooms and the changing areas open on site. For the time being, we'll bring in the porta-johns, but we're still looking for 5 Celebration Park coordinators to work in the park throughout the summer season. And that's what we need to have to be able to open up those buildings so that we have staff there that can make sure they're clean, make sure that everything is safe there for the people who are utilizing them. And it's a good job. The mayor and I were talking, we're seeing what we can do about some of the age requirements going down a little bit, but it's also a good job for retirees if you want to come out and help the kids have more access to the facilities there. And anyone who's interested in it, we encourage you to apply for that. We'll have that open beginning Saturday. Hopefully we can expand that and have our buildings open as well as we move further out into the summer. And finally, I do want to mention the SVSU facility downtown, as the mayor mentioned. She did speak at it, and I know Councilman Copeland was there for the ribbon cutting as well. That's a great facility to have downtown, and now within the city of Saginaw for after high school education, we have Delta College, SVSU, and CMU Medical School all here providing educational opportunities for our young people. And that's a great facility if you get a chance to go down and look at it. And used to house a business downtown, and that business owner retired, so it's a great example of reusing that building as well. So we're glad to have SVSU downtown now. And that concludes the management update, Madam Mayor.
Any questions?
Madam Mayor, may I ask the manager 2 questions?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Manager Morales, for your report. My 2 questions are, is there an update? I went through the CBDG form, which was really good. Under the home improvement, it said that the window was closed. Do we have and I don't have to have an answer tonight, like any updates on how that process went, how successful it was, or how many homes will be receiving? And then the second question is, so the MEDC, the governor and the MEDC approved the additional funding for the state small business credit. And so our SEDC technically would have an opportunity, I think, to receive some of those dollars. Are there any plans for us to, how we can get some of that to Saginaw?
I know you're looking at Ms. Jones, so pass that over to her.
With regards to the housing repair program, we normally advertise it word of mouth and even on our website. We normally have a lot of demand. Oftentimes we have more than 100 applicants that come in and they line up first thing in the morning on the day. And so we set up a phone line that they can call in, and Miss Iris Burns, who's the rehabilitation specialist, she takes down the information. We had it open for a week, and by Wednesday, we had more than 100 applications. So it's in demand, and we've been working on this program for a long time. So unfortunately, we only have so much money that we can help individuals. So as it relates to SEDC, we're always looking for monies for SEDC to work with small businesses. So I know that we've been putting a couple applications in various places. So I will take a look and see what we've already applied for and then get a response to the city manager.
Thank you.
And I'll add that I think the home improvement, our home repair program is very good, and we do have I believe we have a proposal for ARPA to expand that program, which I think is a good use because you have a limited number of dollars in the program now, and also it's limited on the people who can receive it. It's not something that goes citywide like a lot of the block grant. A lot of the block grant funding is tied to only specific areas, so we're not able to provide those services citywide. So something like that, I think, is really could be a big help to a lot of people in the city who are in need.
Thank you. That's all.
How much money do we normally spend on the housing repair program per year?
Well, it fluctuates based on what we receive each year. So it could be up to $1 million or more. We also receive some CARES dollars that we'll be able to put towards it. And we've been actively spending those funds.
So do an individual get to, how much can one individual, what's the maximum amount?
It depends because the program is set up in two ways. We have our basic needs program, and then we have our full rehab program. Okay. So it depends on the needs of the individual.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. What's the pay for the summer staff for the water facility?
For like the splash pad?
Yeah.
We've actually increased the pay to about $12 an hour.
And that's for all 5 positions?
That's for the 5 coordinators.
Okay. And I know that the city had presented their ARPA proposals to the committee. Has that happened yet? I'm sorry.
No, we actually did not do that.
Okay.
That meeting was canceled, so we just entered those ideas into the portal.
Okay, that was going to be my only question, because there were a couple of council members that met with David a few days ago, and he said they were going to the portal.
Yep. Okay. That's correct.
And then would there be any recourse that we'd be able to take for Officer Vasquez, or is that just a separate motion that we'd have to make it? Would there be an amendment opportunity?
I think you'd have to do that under miscellaneous business.
Correct. It would have to be done under miscellaneous business, but there is a question of whether it would be allowed under the ARPA rules.
It wouldn't be allowed we just have to revisit it then? Or it just wouldn't be allowed unless we make a separate motion? I guess I'm trying to figure out the best way to
Well, I did send council an email, I believe last week, an update on May 16th. As you can imagine, when you have a program like this, the night council passed it, I started receiving emails from union members, from various union members, about the program with questions. And I know individual department heads have received several. We've received a lot of requests for exemptions or various reasons why specific individuals should receive the funding that didn't, from anything from they had to be off because of child care issues. They were immunocompromised. We do have other individuals that did contract COVID-19 and had limited work hours during that time as well. In our reading of the final rules, The premium pay is just as it sounds. It's an amount of pay per hour. The statute defines premium pay as an amount up to $13 per hour in addition to wages or remuneration the eligible worker otherwise receives for all work performed by the eligible worker during the COVID-19 public health emergency. So the final rule incorporated this definition and emphasized that premium pay should be in addition to compensation typically received, and it again referenced the hourly amount. This would imply that an employee must be working and then can receive premium pay by the hour. Within the parameters that were passed by City Council, it does fall within that allowance based upon the tiered system. We utilized a flat payment system instead of a per hourly. So the max that someone can receive in our program is a premium of approximately $1.91 per hour. $3,000 at 1,570 hours worked. So our reading of it is that it has to be for time worked, as in it's a premium pay. So in my view, the only way to include more employees would be to expand that time period. So our time period started on the day that the governor declared the emergency, which I believe was March 23rd, and it went for a 1-year time period. So if there was a desire to include more employees, I think the way that you could do that is to extend that period, where however long it would be. I don't have numbers for you on what that would cost. It would increase the cost, and I think we already have letters of understanding with 3 of our 5 bargaining units outlining what was passed by council. The other bargaining units did have members, well, at least one of them I know had members that were asking about exceptions, but they signed the letters of understanding. We have already, I believe HR has ran the hours report citywide, and the cost was approximate to what we had provided council, somewhere around $847,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if we did increase it by another year, I would estimate you would probably be looking at about the same cost.
So 1.7, like at the, okay.
Probably. Without looking at the numbers, that would be my estimate. If that's something council wants us to look at, we could probably run a preliminary hours report and give you a better idea. But it would, right now, I think we're probably on a good track to pay the other employees the hazard pay for the units that have signed a letter of understanding. We could probably pay it in pretty short order, given that we have a lot of the work done. I think we were planning on paying it in the second pay of June.
Okay, great. That'd be really great.
Any other questions?
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks, Mayor. Mr. Manager, going along with what we're talking about, premium pay, after your email, I did do some more research myself, diving into the final rule. And, you know, like you're saying that they talk about the final premium pay must respond to the workers that have performed the work. The other thing I did too is the final rule kept making a lot of reference to the Fair Labor Standards Act. And so I did a little digging out there too. My question and concern, even though I would love to pay this to our employees, especially for what was brought to the council tonight under public input, but one of the questions on here kind of relates to what we're talking about, maybe not 100%. But let me just read it to you. It says, my hours have been cut due to COVID-19. Does my employer have to pay me for the hours I would have worked if it weren't for COVID-19? The response from the FLSA Act says, no, under the FLSA, your employer is only required to pay you for the hours you actually worked. So well, then my concern, and my concern would be that if we were to do something like this and my colleagues were to pass something for our staff, when we had to file that paperwork, my concern is, will we have to pay it back if the Treasury Department found out that we were not able to do that? So,
yes.
Even though I just want to make the record clear, I would love to do it. We support our staff, but that's my concern right now.
Yes, and I think we all feel that way with any employee that has come up and asked us. The one presented tonight that Detective Graves mentioned, other ones that were hospitalized. And I know we haven't talked about every employee, but we've had employees that took time off work and went out of state, and they just happened to hit them when they were out of state, and they were hospitalized in Florida or some other state, which obviously isn't ideal either. So there are various situations. We do feel for all of those employees, which I think is why council did want to do something to assist. But I do think we have to make sure that we fall within the rules, which is why I mentioned, in my view, the way to do it would be to extend that period, but then you are increasing the cost as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
For my clarification, what is the difference between premium pay and hazard pay?
I think people have just been using that as a euphemism. Yes. The legislation, I believe, refers to it as premium pay, but essentially kind of has been used in interchange.
Okay, my next question, you talked about if we extend the time, that would possibly be able to include those that have been left out. Would that take that premium pay, make it higher for those that have worked? So would there be a difference in pay for those that have worked the hours versus those that we're trying to include?
I think so. You would have to, it would depend on who, if someone was here for that whole, if say you extended it by another year, you'd be paying people more if you kept it at the same level.
Right.
I mean, if you said you have this pot of money that you want to spend on premium pay and divide it by all the hours, then you would just reduce everyone's pay. If you wanted to keep it at that same level, that would impact everyone as well. So it's going to impact, either it's going to impact each individual's premium pay total, or it will impact the total that is spent on it from our ARPA funds. And whatever you set as your limits, and I know we're specifically talking about a very extreme case, but wherever you set that, someone's invariably going to be left out one way or another, and that's kind of where you set your guidelines. Or I know of other examples of employees that we have that are at a lower percentage because maybe they were hospitalized or they were out of work with COVID for a month and a half, so they couldn't work those hours either.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
You done?
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, let me get Councilwoman Bench.
Okay, I have a question and I guess just a comment. I guess my comment first would be, I certainly would never want to exclude anyone, purposely, and I feel badly because no matter what we do, someone's not going to get what they want. And I certainly have nothing but respect and admiration for Officer Vasquez, and I'm very glad that he, healed up and was able to rejoin us. But if I hesitate very much to extend the period of time simply because we're doubling the amount, and since we made this vote, I've gotten many thank yous from staff, and I appreciate the thank yous, but I've probably had 3 times the amount of members of the public chastising us for creating an ARPA committee and then spending money, and spending money in the way that it has, whether it's right or wrong. We have to be mindful of the fact that we're spending the public's money on these things, and doubling it really just is tough for me to want to do. My question would be if you can just refresh our memory. You don't have to give us a refresher on everything that the city provided prior to the hazard pay, but which of our employees were able to get workman's compensation? There were things in place for people who were ill. I just don't want people to think that, if someone was ill, that they were not taken care of at all. But
right. So federal government, without going into all the things, everything that the city provided additional PTO, we provided to all of our employees, regardless of what department or division they worked in. So the federal government, in some of their legislation, required the city to provide, I believe it was 80 hours of extra PTO, which we did beyond the extra PTO that we provided, but it did exclude public safety. So firefighters and police officers were excluded from that. In response to that, my belief in response to that is that the state of Michigan then declared that public safety was covered under workman's compensation. So essentially, if you were a police, in this, it included emergency workers too. It may have included healthcare. But didn't impact us, but we know, and for us, it included police and firefighters. So under that assumption, any police or firefighter that contracted COVID is a workers' compensation claim. So would receive workers' compensation pay, and there are additional workers' compensation benefits that would go to those employees. You know, there are, in some of you may or may not know, but there are other things within, similar items within workers' compensation. For instance, I believe firefighters, there are specific types of cancer that are covered under workers' comp because it's assumed that that was contracted through the line of work. So that type of benefit in the future could extend to those employees as well.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Yes.
Thank you. If we were to double the qualifying time but keep the cap of it was $3,000, that wouldn't necessarily double the amount. It would just increase the amount of people eligible, but that wouldn't be double the people, would it?
Well, it wouldn't. I don't know that it'd be double the people because I think there are around 300 people who are receiving it. So.
And that would, there was still, that they had to currently be employed now, right?
Yeah, you would move people up a tier too. Some people that received 50% or 75% would now receive the total percent.
The cap?
The cap, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how much it would increase it. I know we have a number of employees who started after that date who aren't getting anything. That would then probably qualify for the full amount too if they had worked from after that 1 year date to current, or to however far you extended it, they might likely get the entire 3,000 as well. So you would add likely additional people, but I can't, without doing the report, I couldn't tell you what the total would be.
And council wouldn't be able to state originally what I had stated in February, that individuals that were hospitalized either due to injury or COVID would still qualify because we're doing it hourly.
Right, I don't believe the legislation allows you to do premium pay that's not based on hours worked. So it would have to be hours worked.
It omitted anybody that had contracted COVID. They would not be able to have a premium pay because they weren't providing a government service.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I say that, that Mr. Morales asked if he could get back with us later. Can I ask that we can let him get back with us later?
Yeah.
After he, after him and his staff look through things, and that way we may not, take so many hours just discussing this.
I think we need a motion for that. If I'm correct, we need a motion made.
Not at a place for motions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just ask
Well,
to have?
You can ask, but when we get to miscellaneous.
I would ask for a motion at the miscellaneous business because it will take additional employee time to do that and potentially could delay the payment for, but if council does want that, we can do it.
So I just need to get clarity. There was workman compensation provided for police and fire. And now not only was it off, so that meant that even while they were off, they were getting paid for being sick. And even 5 months from now, if they get sick, can that claim be reopened as a result of the compensation that was granted during the, I know that sounds so confusing.
I know what you're saying. I'll ask Dennis to come up because I'm not a workers' comp expert, but he can describe better the way the workers' comp claims work. And, you know, with COVID-19, I think there's going to be a lot of
aftermath.
In the future, we don't know how it's going to impact you long term. So I think, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think workers' compensation is going to be pretty liberal with interpreting what is a COVID-related illness later in life.
Okay.
In my view. Dennis?
Yeah, good evening, Council. So as far as any claim, and I don't want to specifically relate it to any individual for health privacy reasons, but if someone has a work-related claim that's qualified under the Workers' Comp Act, then those benefits are available to them while they're currently working and after they work. So, for example, while they're working, if there's complications come up, they need additional time off. If it qualifies for that illness or injury, they'll be eligible for pay and health care coverage to remedy that medical condition. And even after employment, if they still had those claims later on in life, they would still be covered under workers' comp. They could always reference back. There's really no statute of limitation on that. So, I mean, those are benefits that are available, for individuals that end up with a work-related illness or injury. I think someone was asking about other benefits, and I think Tim probably covered it. But in addition to those work comp, that we also, just a refresher, we did also provide 120 hours of paid time off in that first year. That's pretty substantial when you look at it. So, and then there was also some hazard pay available for the state that was offered to police and fire as well. Some chose it that in lieu of some time off that we allowed them to bank. So there we had, as a city goes, we did put some programs out there. One other benefit that, in addition to that 120 hours that was available, with the federal government mandated expanded FMLA. FMLA right now in the state of Michigan is not paid, but this particular program, the city was required to pay 80% of the individual's pay if they were off for a COVID-related, whether it was for their illness or to stay home for child care needs regarding school closures or daycare closures. So there had been quite a few things that we had done on our own even before this happened.
I'll add, and we just went through our contract negotiations. You all know the city provides really excellent health care as well, health care coverage, insurance.
Does that answer the work comp?
Yes, that answered it. I just wanted to get clarification that there was something above and beyond it. So that workman's comp is only for police and firemen, not for other staff.
For the COVID-related reasons,
For the
yes.
COVID, yes, COVID-related.
They had a window, and if anyone become ill or due to COVID during that time, then during that window, in this particular case, if someone did become ill, then they're going to be covered basically for life on that.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I got a question. So they got an extra, you said they got an extra 120 hours off? And they got extra, did those same employees get an extra 80 hours of PTO too? They got 120 hours plus 80 hours of PTO?
Well, we gave, I think it was 40 hours initially of extra PTO when the stay-at-home order was put in place. So we did have employees that didn't that didn't have an opportunity to work, like Councilman Ostash mentioned, if you had to stay home.
Right.
So that was to help compensate for that. Then we provided a hour for hour kind of comp time.
Okay.
Because some people were staying home under expanded FMLA. So for the employees that were coming to work, we said we will set up an additional bank for you and we'll give you 1 hour of PTO or 1 hour of comp time for every hour that you work. And I believe that was up to 80 hours.
Okay.
And then, was that 80 hours, Yolanda? Yes. So that was up to 80 hours. So there's the 120 hours, but the extra 80 you had to be working. And I think they had a two-week period to earn that. And then the federal government in their legislation mandated the 80 hours of additional PTO that we had to provide.
So that was so we gave up by like 200 hours. And I was just trying to calculate, and he worked like 160 hours a month, times 12, that's 1,320 hours a year. You know, we gave him 240 hours, so, okay, I'm just trying to figure it out. It's about 20% of the time they could have stayed home.
Yeah, and I believe most of the employees did utilize probably the 40 hours of initial PTO that we gave, and if they were working the comp time, because we had an expiration date on those hours, so I think they utilized those hours. If they were working, I can't tell you if everyone did utilize the 80 hours that the federal government required us to use. I don't know about that, if they did or not. And we had to add that the city also did apply for a grant where the state made available a grant where you could provide premium pay for police and firefighters. We did apply for that, and we gave police and firefighters the option of taking $1,000 in cash premium pay instead of the comp hours, I believe. So they had that option to take that premium pay too.
I'm just saying, I feel sorry for Vasquez, you know, if he, you know, in the line of duty, he caught this disease, was off so long. You know, but we don't want to get in trouble with the federal government either. My heart really goes out to him. But I was thinking maybe we can do a GoFundMe page and we might be able to get more than $3,000 for the officer, you know. I don't want to get in trouble with the federal government. The city don't want to be paying back money we shouldn't be getting, because we pay it back, then we probably get penalized for giving it anyway. So I'm thinking about maybe a GoFundMe page. If the police department feel like they can do that, I'm sure we can get that money for him.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
To what Councilman Lamar Sylvia said, this is something that we should have, you know, the manager and his employees look into, because it is worth looking into. Officer Vasquez is an officer that would have been working. Had he not caught COVID, he damn near lost his life to COVID and is deserving of whatever it is that we can do. So I think we should just cease conversation, just look into it, bring it back to us, and let's move forward from there. But it's not something that we should just skirt. It needs to be researched. And
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at the consent agenda.
The agenda has been available at City Hall and on the city webpage and on SGTV channel 191. I need a motion, leaving room for exceptions for the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Are there any exceptions? Are there any exceptions? Are there any exceptions? Hearing none. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk,
Our next item is board, commission, committee reports.
do we have any council person that has a board or commission report? Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just very briefly, we did have a meeting of the City County School Liaison Committee last Thursday, and it went well. It was mainly discussion around the different ARPA processes and making sure that people who are applying to the county, that we mesh them well with people who are applying to the city if they're applying to both. I believe the Guidehouse gentleman and also the school district, or excuse me, the county said that within the next couple of weeks that Guidehouse would be working with them on our behalf, and they also have contracted Guidehouse and are working with the same team. And just a lot of good things going on with prom and all that for the school district and whatnot. A lot of positive events, a lot of really good things that our students are doing that we should be highlighting and thinking about as well, because we know we've got some young people who are struggling, but we have some young people who are really doing some remarkable things. We had one that just won third place in a business competition with a business pitch, and even coming in third place, you can tell these kids are going to make themselves some serious money with these ideas. And there's just like no limit to the intelligence and the innovation of these young kids that are coming up now. So, but it was a good meeting. I'm very glad to have those partners at both of those agencies as well, with the county and the school district. So that's all I have.
I do like to mention something. I was at that meeting too, and the new high school is coming up. They're doing testing right now for the drilling, for the pillars that they're gonna put up for the building, and that's going well. And they should be open in the fall of 23, did they say? 20.
Handley's new campus will be open fall of 23, so this next upcoming school year, they'll be relocating from where they are. It'll be combined. And then I believe the combined high school opens fall of 2024.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk.
Our next item is ordinance consideration and adoption. We have one on the agenda this evening. It's
I need a motion to adopt.
Oh, tell me to read it first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Trying to get to the basketball game.
No.
It's an ordinance to amend Chapter 95, Trees, Shrubs, and Plants of Title 9, General Regulations by amending 95.03, Abatement of Nuisances of the City of Saginaw Code of Ordinances O-204.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our next item is resolutions. The first one is approving the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 budget.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our next resolution is approving the amount for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 public safety millage.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our next resolution is approving the request of the Downtown Development Authority to levy a 2 mil tax on all real and tangible personal property not exempt by law and as finally equalized in the Downtown Development District for fiscal year 2023.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Madam Clerk.
Our final resolution is authorizing the extension of the master plan until October 1st, 2022.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Madam Clerk.
Your next item is miscellaneous business.
Is there any business to be added? Is there any business to be added? If I'm not mistaken, this is when the motion was supposed to come up.
I was just going to say, we can just bring back a couple different scenarios for you at the next meeting, where it seems like there is some consensus at least to see what the cost will be. So I think a good option may be to cap it at the 3,000 and just show you what the additional cost would be if we do that. And we could show you a couple different ways, just based on extending it for 1 year. It's going to increase, I still would recommend starting it for at the date of the governor's order, but we can do an additional year after that, and we'll tell you what the total additional cost for that to happen.
Appreciate it.
Is that good?
Yes.
Yes.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Hold on, don't move. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Good.